I was so confident. I just called to say I love you. Oh, that's not my song. That was Stevie Wonder. All right. It's not having what you want, it's wanting what you've got. That is from Soak Up the Sun.
It's not having what you want, it's wanting what you've got.
It's kind of funny. My dad used to say that, so I should probably have cut him in on the publishing, but I did not. But it's funny how those little sayings stick with you, because now I have kids, and there's always something that's like, now that I've got this, I really want that. And I'm like, no. It's not having what you want. It's wanting what you have. Okay, so let's just remember that. And that song, actually, I wrote with my buddy. We were in New York City, and he'd flown all the way from LA to write with me, and I had the flu. So I was like flat on my back, not feeling well, and we write a song called Soak Up the Sun. You know, the most upbeat, happy song. All right. When it comes to being lucky, he's cursed. When it comes to loving me, he's worst. The first cut is the deepest.
When it comes to loving me, he's worse.
I wish I would have written that song, but I did not write that song. Actually, it was written by Cat Stevens, but it was really made famous by Rod Stewart. And the story is, I was putting out a greatest hits record. The record label asked me to do a greatest hits, which I thought pretty much meant, okay, we're winding down here. It's the end of your career. Let's just make an album that's got all your hits on it, and we need one more single. And I'm thinking, how do you write a single for a compilation of hits? And what if it's a dud? So I wound up recording a cover of a song that I just loved, and then it did become a hit, so thank you, Lord. Okay, I like a good beer buzz early in the morning, and Billy likes to peel the labels from his bottles of Bud. Yeah, I'm hoping that when it comes to poetry reading, that all second and third graders read those two lines. Yeah, that song was All I Want to Do.
I like a good beer buzz early in the morning.
I graduated from University of Missouri with a degree in classical music with a minor in elementary education, and I moved to St. Louis and was an elementary music teacher for 2 years in the public school system in St. Louis. And I loved it. I also was singing in bands on the weekend, and I just kind of knew that I could always come back to teaching, but that if I was going to do this thing, I needed to do it, while I was untethered. So I moved to LA. I've had several students through the years who will come to shows and they'll yell, Kellison, which was where I taught, Kellison Elementary. Miss Crow, oh my God, you're like a rock star now. I was born in the South, sometimes I have a big mouth, and that is from the movie Cars, and the song was called Real Gone.
I was born in the South, sometimes I have a big mouth.
I got asked to write this song, and when they sent me the clip, they said it was about cars, and they're talking cars, and they're all friends, and there was no music to it and no sound effects, and it was just Owen Wilson's voice, and I didn't have kids yet, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm really the right person for this. Cut to now, which is our most streamed song, and it is the song that my kids identify me with, so thank you, Pixar. Well, okay, I still get stoned. I'm not the kind of girl you take home. That is from If It Makes You Happy.
I'm not the kind of girl you take home.
It was one of the most fun records to record, and I still call them records, but my first album came out and it was really, really big. It sold like 8 million copies, and I went in to make my second record, and you really do feel like you have the whole world kind of looking at you when you're trying to like compete with a huge, successful first endeavor, and there was so much pressure, and it was just really fun to like kind of unload on this song, and to just have that chorus that's like in your face and screaming, if it makes you happy, then why the hell are you so sad? It is a weird thing to be a songwriter because you're writing from your own experience. A lot of times it's autobiographical, but if it isn't like succinctly autobiographical, it's still your experience. And I wasn't somebody that was getting stoned all the time, but I definitely was not the prototype for a wife. But I will say, doing it with Olivia was really a joy because she gives me a lot of hope in that she's still kind of carrying the rock torch. She's writing songs that are angsty and that really do speak to her generation, which is when I came out was what I was trying to do. So it's, it was full circle for me.
It makes you happy. It can't be that bad.
Getting inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was, it's still hard for me to summarize what that was like emotionally. I think it was a lot like having a wedding reception where you have all the people in the room that have mattered to you, and yet you can remember very little of it. It was just an amazing night, and an opportunity to say thank you to a lot of people. Okay, I gotta think about this. Well, maybe nothing lasts forever, even when you stay together. My favorite mistake? Oh yes, the bridge. Maybe nothing lasts forever, even when you stay together. Okay, yeah.
Well, maybe nothing lasts forever.
It is probably the only song that when it comes on the radio, I actually will let it play, which I know sounds kind of egomaniacal, but a lot of times when you've worked on something and you know all the little ins and outs and things you hear and you go, oh, I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have changed that word. This song, I don't do that with. I feel like this song was so much a gift, and in your career as a songwriter, on rare occasions, you feel like you just got lucky. You got to be in the room when inspiration was happening, and this was that song. I mean, there was so much of it that was written on the mic, that was not toiled over, that just came out in a fully realized song, and I hear that in it. I hear the sort of just total bearing of soul, and it harkens back to all the stuff that I had loved, the kind of R&B rock. So yeah, I just feel lucky that I got to write that song. I'm just wondering why I feel so all alone, why I'm a stranger in my own life, and that is from Every Day is a Winding Road.
I'm just wondering why I feel so all alone.
I will say that this song was important to me because it was inspired by somebody who did actually take his own life. And I think when you lose somebody to suicide, you really start thinking about what must they have been going through when it came to that moment. And it makes you look at your own life and the sort of the fragility of it. In a weird way, that song was a letter to myself that, every day may feel sometimes insurmountably impossible to get through, but all the turns in the road are taking you where it is that you're supposed to be to get the lesson or to enjoy the moment or whatever it is. And it has been an interesting thing to have that song in my back pocket, because as I've played it for the last 30 years and being able to share it with people, we've gone through COVID, we've gone through 9/11, we've gone through moments where we've had to sort of come together. Now we're going through mental health crises that we see with our own kids. And it just feels like a song that seems to continue to have meaning. I'm going crazy a little every day, and everything I wanted is now driving me away. I think it's the difficult kind. No, I'm going crazy a little every day. I think it's home. Yes.
I'm going crazy a little every day.
I think the older I get, the more I realize that my hometown is so much a part of who I am. It's so much a part of how I envision raising my kids. I mean, obviously, Nashville's not a small town, but my kids have grown up in relative small town atmosphere. When I was growing up, you could get on your bicycle and ride around, and you had to be back by dinner. Your parents didn't know where you were, you didn't have cell phones, and that independence was such a part of my small town Midwestern ethos, and I still feel like it's a giant part of me. Okay. I just called to say I love you. Oh, that's not my song, that was Stevie Wonder. I just called to say I love you. Come back home. Yeah, that would be Picture with Kid Rock.
I just called to say I love you. Come back home.
It blew up so hugely, so bigly. Can I say that? It grew up so bigly. I mean, Bobby is a blast to be around. I was getting to know him at the time, and we were like, yeah, let's write a song together. And then lo and behold, we write a song that becomes #1. And honestly, when we wrote it, I didn't really see it as being a giant song. He's like, oh no, this is gonna be a #1 hit. And I'm like, I don't know. But he was right. Penthouse Saturday, Guy Who Looks Like Chalamet. That is from Alarm Clock, which is from my last record.
Penthouse Saturday, guy who looks like Chalamet.
I love Timothy Chalamet. I mean, he's so antithetical to what I grew up with as being rock star dude. But he was, especially during the time of writing this song, and even now, everywhere, and everything to every person, so many different characters wrapped up in him. So much fun making the record. I worked with Mike Elizondo, who's a dear friend for years and years, and wrote this with a young songwriter that he introduced me to named Emily Weisband. And we wrote it in a day and recorded it. And it was so much fun. I came in and I was like, look, I want to write a song about how I hate my alarm clock, because as soon as it goes off, whatever I'm dreaming has just ended. And that feels like a metaphor for life. You have those alarm clocks where all of a sudden you're thrown into the reality. And, by the end of the day, it was like, boom, it's done.